We look to the heavens for hope, guidance in a world of uncertainty. Within our universe, a mighty star shines bright over us and reflects itself to enlighten our darkness. It is from that star that our very molecules are born, boundless and bright. That mighty star commands a universe of stars that bear witness to our history and are attached to our ideas of the future. In these stars, we find our beginnings. In these stars, we learn of our endings.
Hey guys, welcome to another episode of In the Stars with Dwayne. I'm your host, Dwayne Dunleavy, and we are live. So it is June 15th, and we are talking today about Libra and Scorpio. But let's just quickly go over what our last episode was about, which was Leo and Virgo. What an interesting two pair of signs. We've got Leo the fire and Virgo the earth. Leo being that proud lion, great in front of a camera, effervescent, fun at parties. And then you've got the Virgo, a little bit more inner looking, earth sign, collects things, that kind of stuff. So I hope that the Leos and the Virgos had great birthdays. And actually, since we're not doing these in order of the time that we're recording them, you guys have your birthdays still coming up. We're still right now in the center of Gemini when we're doing this show today, but we're going through all of the signs. We're going through all of the kind of terms. And then after that, we can really just dive in and start doing stuff that happens on the exact day when we go live. So today we're talking about Libra. Libra is an air sign. The colors that Libra covers are pink and green, but also sometimes lavender. A lot of times, Libras, for some reason, really love the color lavender. The day of the week that covers Libra is Friday. Friday because they are ruled by the planet Venus, and Venus is also the ruler of that day, Friday. Compatibility for Libra it's very broad, but the two signs that really are connected with Libra usually are Aries and Sagittarius. I find a lot of Libras end up with Capricorns for some reason, and I think it's because Libras are air signs. They love justice. They're really into the underdog, and Capricorns really love honesty, earthbound things, so they end up getting together really well. And also Aquarius, because they are both air signs, but that can get a little dicey in the end because of analytical reasons usually. The dates associated with Libra are September 23rd to October 22nd. And a lot of times people who are born either on the 23rd or the 22nd of September or the 22nd or 23rd of October are not quite sure where they sit. And to be honest, the way that the earth moves and the rotation of the earth, you can't really be sure where you fall, but you can kind of always, when you're in any of those transitional times and dates, you can always assume that you have traits of either one on either side of that spectrum. So with Libras, you may have a little bit of stuff going on when you're in the transitional times with Scorpio and vice versa. So keep that in mind. The Libras tend to always be interested in what's going on in the world and around them. Even in local government, you'll find a lot of Libras in political careers. Also, nursing is one of the careers that's associated with Libra because they like to help people. Some of the things that I've found through the years from reading people is that Libras also are extremely into beauty, fashion. They tend to have a style that is classic. Usually they like a style that is timeless. depending on the entire chart, of course, that changes with things. But Libras in general tend to love timelessness, classic beauty. The reason for that, because they are ruled by the planet Venus, and Venus is the planet of beauty, of decadence, romance, those types of things. And those are the things that are also associated with Libra: romance, the good life, wine and chocolate, that kind of situation. So if you are thinking about going out with a Libra or currently going out with a Libra, you can expect some romance, some romantic thoughts, even, and not just in relationships, but also in their general life. They have these romantic thoughts like, oh, I can, do this. I can move to this place, or I can go to this place for a vacation, and they have these like dreamy thoughts. So that's very much connected with Libra. Some famous Libras. We've got Kim Kardashian. We've got there's so many Libras that are in the realm of celebrity. Will Smith is a Libra. Um, who else do we have that's a Libra? Barbara Walters. Some of you probably too young to even know who that is. Lots of Libras, especially in politics, like I said. And you're hard pressed to find a Libra that is not involved somehow socially, whether in their personal life or with social consciousness, with global matters, charities, that type of thing. Gwyneth Paltrow is a Libra. Bruno Mars, Eminem, so many amazing people. Lil Wayne, I didn't know that one, but Lil Wayne, so many people in the celebrity realm are Libras, and they tend to really just, love people and doing, interesting things to help people. So next we've got Scorpio. Scorpio is October 23rd to November 21st, and it is a water sign. Water signs tend to be all about emotional capacity, emotional demonstration, those types of things. The colors associated with Scorpio are scarlet or red, like that deep, red, rust, and also sometimes black and red together are associated with Scorpio. In fact, it's funny. A lot of times when I meet people, if they're wearing black and red, I'll say, "Are you a Scorpio?" And many times they say yes. So it's kind of interesting. Keep in mind, people don't love their power colors or the colors that are associated with them usually. Those are just their power colors. They may love a completely different color or actually hate their power color, which is interesting because your power color is something that really helps you if you use it as a tool. So let's say you're going on an interview and your power color is purple. My power color is purple, but also has a lot to do with blue. So this is actually my power color. So if I wear this or a purple color to an interview, the idea is that there will be this kind of like connection between me and the color in an outward way. So the person interviewing me might not know why, but they feel like, wow, this person has great energy, or something of that nature. So that's how the power colors work. Day of the week associated with Scorpio is Tuesday. The planets are Pluto and Mars. So there are two planets, and this has the explanation. Well, there's a huge explanation. So if you really want to know the details of why it has two planets, like only a couple other signs do, then I would say to look it up. But it's because of the movement of the planets. It's because of our orbit in space and how things slowly, our orbit slowly is changing at all times, even the rotation of the Earth. So that it has a lot to do with your sign and where you fall, especially like I said, those transitional times. So the compatibility for Scorpio almost always tends to be Taurus. But Cancer connects with Scorpio really well too, because it's also a water sign. And the water signs connect on the emotional level. They understand why each other has unexplainable emotional ups and downs. So they connect on that level. Even Pisces, all the water signs really connect on that. But the Taurus, which is an earth sign, the reason that Taurus and Scorpio work so well together, and the reason that most earth signs and water signs work so well together, I like to explain like this, because water, if you think about the element water, it goes anywhere. Or if it doesn't have something to hold it, it goes everywhere, and anywhere that it moves outward, even in streams, bodies of water, it will stay within that body of water, but any kind of force will create a movement to it, like a river, that kind of thing. Earth is the the holder, kind of like the cup that can hold the water. So in a Taurus Scorpio relationship, earth and water, there's that earth sign is usually helping to keep that water in place, and the water being emotion. So it tends to be like a an emotional kind of cradle for the Scorpio. And that's how it works with most earth and water sign relationships. When you get two water signs together, friendship is amazing because you understand each other's emotional ups and downs. You might get on each other's nerves. You might actually fight a lot, but understand why it's happening. And so it doesn't change the relationship. But there's nothing there to really mold or to keep things stable. So things will always be up and down, up and down. Um, so some of the strengths of a Scorpio, they are very powerful people, very passionate, resourceful. If a Scorpio loves something or is passionate about a certain career or something happening, nothing can stop them. So if you're a Scorpio and you've got this idea, especially young Scorpios, I like to let them know, because in the beginning they're a little bit iffy on whether they have the powers that they have or not. They don't really understand yet. But if you're a Scorpio and you have a passion for something, nothing will be able to stop you. If you're really passionate about it, everybody better watch out. Some of their weaknesses, they can distrust until you really prove to them that you can be trusted. Now, violence is listed under Scorpio, and they are one of the most misunderstood signs in the whole zodiac. When somebody is a Scorpio and you say, "Hey, what's your sign?" Sometimes they'll be like, "Well, I'd rather not say," or they don't like to tell people that they're Scorpio because there's so many um, I guess negative or pejorative ideas associated with Scorpio. Even the animal that is associated with Scorpio, the scorpion, I mean, it's not a cuddly, fun, furry creature. And I tend to explain actually Scorpios in this way to Scorpios, that just like a scorpion, at times Scorpios need to kind of like back into their little cave and be surrounded, and they have their little stinger above in case anybody comes at them. And that happens with scorpions, or with Scorpios. You'll find they'll just for 3 days just go missing, and they'll be in their room reading a book or whatever, and they just don't want to talk to anybody, don't want to be around anybody, because they need to kind of like recharge and get back to like a center with their emotional ups and downs. So if you know a Scorpio, or if you're dating a Scorpio, you're just starting out with a romantic relationship, be prepared for once in a while that they just kind of need to be on their own. And you're going to have to be okay with it because there's not going to be much difference in that. They really love the truth. I mean, who doesn't? But Scorpios are sniffing it out. Like they can really tell just by looking at you when you're speaking if you're telling the truth or not. And the moment that they feel that you are not being truthful with them, they could really just cut it. The other thing about Scorpios that is really well known, and you should know if you're involved with any Scorpio in a friendship or a relationship, they do not forget anything. So if you do anything to hurt their feelings, to betray them, especially, they will never forget, and they will be in their mind working on how to get even for the rest of their entire life. So, when it comes to Scorpios, you have to really be careful. Throughout my life, many of my best friends have been and still are Scorpios, and that's because I know not to mess with them. I will not lie to them. I will not betray them because I don't want to be on the bad side of a Scorpio. Now, for both of these signs, the Libra, which is a cardinal modality, and the Scorpio, which is a fixed modality. Well, what are the modalities, or they're also called triplicities? They might be called equality in some charts and readings, but the modalities are the qualities associated with the seasons in the year. So when it comes to, it's like the different stages of the season cycle. When a cardinal sign starts a season, a fixed sign embodies the entire season, and then a mutable sign is one that helps to transition. So, for example, Sagittarius is a mutable sign. We transition from the fall into the winter. A Scorpio, for instance, is a fixed sign, and that means it is the center of the fall. The Libra is a cardinal sign, and that is the beginning of the fall. So that's how, in astrological terms or in astrology 3,000 years ago, and since, they came up with a way to explain the different movements of the planets and our seasons, because that's really what causes our seasons. We're moving away from the sun, we're getting closer to the sun. So it all has to do with the same stuff. So when you talk about modalities, triplicities, those qualities, those have to do with the seasons and how they are connected to your sign. They are also, if you really think about it, a cardinal sign. For instance, Aries is going to be very kind of like strong, very unmovable. A fixed sign tends to be, kind of in the middle of both, which it is, in the middle of being kind of strong, unmovable, and then also changeable. A mutable sign is usually changeable. You can talk a mutable sign into something with good, descriptions or promises, things like that. You can change a mutable sign. So that's also how those things connect. So between Libra and Scorpio, we've determined that the air and the water signs. So air being all about analytical ideas, thinking, thoughts, romanticizing, let's say, and water being emotional, the emotions themselves. Those are going to be the things that really are the way to get through to one of those signs. So to get through to an air sign, you want to think about how they're thinking. You want to give them the ability to analyze what you're saying or doing and to come to a decision. With the water signs, you want them to feel that you are being truthful, that you are being honest, that you love them, that you think well of them, and they can feel that. All of the water signs are very sensitive. All of the air signs are very thoughtful. All of the fire signs are very productive. And all of the, let's see, we've got air, water. Oh, and the earth signs are very stable in a way. There are going to be earth signs that you find that are not stable, but that has to do with all of their planets in their chart. So that's the other thing. I mentioned it many times in different episodes here, but I want to say it again, that if your sun sign is something that is just 1/12, basically, it could be up to 1/24 of your chart, because if you really get into what houses and all of these different things, but the basic measure of your chart is going to be the time, location, and date of your birth, which then gives you your sun sign. That's usually the one everybody knows. That's the date of your birth. Then you need your ascendant or your rising. Those are both the same thing, ascendant and rising. All of your planets. So you've got the 8, well, 7 now that they say, but the entire chart is what makes up your astrological reading. So you are completely different from someone else who may have the same sun sign as you. For instance, if you're a Scorpio and you know another Scorpio and you say, that person is nothing like me, if you look at the two charts of those people, they're going to be completely different because they were born at different times, on different days, in different parts of the world. So the things that were affecting them, the magnetic force or energy from the planets moving during the time of your development right before your birth is going to be different. So that's how we explain that, even though you have the same sun sign as somebody, you may be completely different from them. And where do you get a full chart? Well, you can get them for free online. You could just Google free natal chart or birth chart, is what they're called. There's a great place called cafeastrology.com. You can go there and get a free birth chart. And um, the best thing about these birth charts is that the majority of them, I think all of them, I've never seen one that hasn't, but the majority of them, when you put your information in and you get your chart, it tells you each of the planets, it tells you everything, and then it has an explanation. So some of these are like 30 pages long. So if you get your chart, it'll say what your sun sign is, and then it'll have a paragraph or two about what that sun sign means, and then your rising sign and what that rising sign means. And when you put all those things together, you'll find people really find, especially when they say my astrological readings and charts have never been true or never said anything that really connects with me. Well, when you go that deeply, that's when you really start to see all of that kind of stuff making sense and coming together. And hey, even for me, it surprises me all the time. I've said it before, I don't base my entire life on astrology. I don't believe 100% that astrology rules everything or that it makes people a certain characteristic or have certain talents and desires and things. But to some extent, I do believe that the movement of the planets, the magnetic force, the gravity, all of that stuff that happens during the development of a child inside the womb has to be somewhat an effect that helps the development of the child, the spinal cord, the neurons in the brain, all of the things that make the waves of the ocean on our planet are what happens inside of the womb with each person who's born, who are all mostly made of water on a planet mostly made of water. So all of this stuff has a connection scientifically, not just romantically or esoterically. Everything kind of has a real scientific basis for truth. So check it out and see what you think personally and come to a decision. At the very least, even if you don't believe in any of this, isn't it interesting that something that's 3,000 years old and was created based on the actual movement of our planets is still going strong and is making a huge comeback right now in 2022? These young people, especially on TikTok and stuff, people are doing readings, finding out about their signs. The last time I think astrology was in such a great place was probably the 70s. Everybody knows that in the 70s, everybody asked, what's your name and what's your sign? And now it's kind of happening again. Even 10 and 12-year-olds, my friends' kids are finding out about astrology, tarot, all of that kind of stuff. So today we talked about Libra and Scorpio. It is June, and so we're in the middle of Gemini, and things are going well. Soon we're going to be at the end of the astrological wheel, which will end with Pisces and Aquarius and Pisces, because Aries is the first sign, and that's the one we started with. Once we get to that, we're going to delve deeper, and with these live shows, we can even take calls, get people to send in their information, and we'll do live readings. So stay with us. Thank you so much for following us so far, watching all these episodes and finding out about the signs and everything attached to them. And next time we will be talking about Sagittarius and Capricorn. That's me, actually. I'm a Sagittarius sun with a Capricorn rising. So I actually embody both of those signs in a lot of ways, and it's totally true for me. So join us for our next episode, which will talk about Sagittarius and Capricorn, and then it's just Aquarius and Pisces, and then we'll start getting into live readings etc. So thanks for watching another episode of In the Stars with Dwayne. I'm your host, Dwayne Dunleavy, and keep looking up.